What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. Happy Friday, people. The weekend is upon us, and Arsenal are back on Sunday. Big game at Newcastle. Newcastle, Santiago Munez, people. Santiago Munez. If you watch the film Goal, you're with me right now. If not, you're thinking, what on earth is he talking about? But big up to everyone. Happy Friday. Hope you are well. And yeah, we're going to have Waffle Central from the manager in the press conference reaction. And of course, we'll look ahead to the game at Newcastle. What game should we... Not what game, what team should we pick, sorry, for the game against Newcastle? If Trossard plays, who comes out? Do you drop Martinelli? Do you drop Saka? Do you drop Jesus? We'll speak about all of that, and obviously transfer news as well. The PR system is in full flow right now, people. You know, we're being linked with everyone. We're going to blow up the transfer window this summer. The PR is elite level, and they're pushing it out to the community now. To calm everyone down in case we don't win the Premier League. But anyway, big up to everyone. Like the video, subscribe, all of that good stuff, people. Before we start today's show, how good were Brighton last night, people? I mean, I was gonna start with a banter picture, but I couldn't actually find one appropriate. I watched that Brighton game against Man United last night. I have to say, for a 1-0, that was one of the best games I've watched in terms of Brighton. For me now are, I would say, top 4, top 5 teams in the Premier League in terms of the style of football that they play now. They desperately need a striker. If you put a 20-goal-a-season striker in that Brighton team, they're a problem. They are a problem. They've got everything apart from the goal scorer. No disrespect to a man like Danny Welbeck, who runs a lot, but they don't have the goal scorer. But they completely bombarded Man United yesterday. Luke Shaw, I don't know what kind of foolishness he's doing, but I enjoyed it. And what a penalty from McAllister. He's in advanced talks to join Liverpool. When you see, you know, a 97th minute penalty, you just whip it in the top corner casually like that. You can see why. Caicedo played at right back yesterday as they had no right back. And he did a pretty good job against Rashford, top player as well. Yeah, they're signing João Pedro from Watford. I mean, he's decent. I don't know how prolific he is. And I know they've just signed Milner from Liverpool as well. But there's players in that Brighton team that I think, you know, clubs should be going for. Caicedo, McAllister, Mitoma. I even think Lewis Dunk's a solid centre-back as well. But I have to say, Brighton, man, they play brilliant football. And I was delighted to see that they beat Man United. Samuel with the super chat. Who is taller, Curtis Shaw or Wout Weghorst? Also, is Weghorst your cousin? First of all, Samuel. Linking me to Weghorst in any way, shape or form is utterly and truly disrespectful. He is a shambolic footballer. He is nothing but a Dutch giraffe. And he is taller than me, of course. But he's a shambolic player. So thank you for the £5. I do not accept that kind of slander, Samuel. But big up yourself. Yeah, that's definitely borderline timeout. Big up Curtis. McAllister is outstanding. He'll fit in perfectly at Liverpool. Let's be honest, man. That high press, that quality on the ball. You can see why Liverpool are going for him. Big C, I saw you in knots with your entourage. Can you confirm? Yeah, that was a bit of a confusing... if anyone watched the last stream, yeah, that was a little bit confusing, some of them super chats. But it is what it is, people. Paid money to get a timeout. Cross the line. You don't compare me to a horse. You just don't do that. Caicedo could be our Camavinga, said Lawrence. My worry is now, if McAllister joins Liverpool, I don't see Brighton selling 2 centre midfielders in one transfer window. So I just don't... I think Caicedo could be difficult to get out of there. If they let McAllister go, I don't see them selling Caicedo as well. Anyway, people, big up everyone locked in. And big up Lawrence here with that super chat. Let's talk about Arsenal. Let's start with the transfers, actually, before we get into the waffle. If you haven't had your lunch, people, there'll be plenty of waffle in this press conference from Arteta. And we'll be skipping through that. Later on, I've liked Estupinan, said Aguma. Yeah, he looks decent. All the players look decent. So, who was the guy as well? Is it... what's the brother, man? The 19-year-old. He played in the Camero. Forget the guy's name. and Caesar or something. I forget the guy's name. You know what I'm talking about. I'm going to have to check that because I forget what the guy's name was. I'm sure someone will tell me in the comments. What's the guy's name? The attacking midfielder, man. He was running Casemiro ragged. And Caesar, is it? Yeah. Baller. 19 years of age. Footwork. Mad confidence on the ball. They got another one there, people. DJ Khaled Business. He's a baller, man. He's a player. Matoma had a good battle, I thought, with Wan-Bissaka. Got the better of him. The end product wasn't really there. African Giant, I thought we were boys, that therapy session. Listen, I mean, what can I say to you, bro? You know the good thing for you as a Chelsea fan? Chelsea have got bounce-back ability, man. Chelsea can finish 11th and then go and win the Champions League the year after. They're just a crazy club. Although you ain't winning the Champions League next year because you won't be in it. But do you know what I mean? Chelsea, they come back quick, man. Big up my bro Hakeem. We have to buy before Liverpool do. Don't do a Mudryk. Whatever we are doing in the transfer window, do it quick. Don't wait because these lot are doing their business early. We have to do our business. And Caesar is cold. He's from Paraguay. I thought he was from Argentina. Absolute baller. Anyway, let's get into today's show. A bit of transfer talk, people, for Arsenal. You'll have seen it as one of the headlines on today's show, and that is Moussa Diaby of Bayer Leverkusen. Now, we made an inquiry for him in January, and Leverkusen wanted 100 million euros. I think every winger that was linked with a move in January, they just went and referenced how much Mudryk had gone for. So you were going to massively overpay for anybody in January. However, Leverkusen not having a great season. Diaby wants to leave. And it's believed he'll cost around 50 to 55 million now, rather than the crazy money that was being linked with in January. Now, I always kind of sit on the fence when it comes to Moussa Diaby, because I'm going to be totally honest. I can't really say how good I think he is. I've watched him a few times. He's very lively, scores a few goals. He's quite small, and he's quick. And I like pace, but I honestly don't know fully how good he is. So if anybody watches Bundesliga, watches Leverkusen a lot more, feel free to let me know in the comments how good he is. How good a signing do you think he would be for Arsenal? 23 years of age. 6 caps for France, 9 goals and 7 assists this season. Last season was his best season, 13 goals, 12 assists. This is just in the league, by the way. He got more as well. I mean, he's got 3 goals in the Europa League this year as well. So he's got 12 goals and he's got 8 assists in all competition this season. So he hits the back of the net. Left-footed player, plays on the right, so similar to Saka in that sense. And of course, we do need a right winger. We need a right winger. It's obvious. Not enough pressure on Saka and, you know, Marquinhos and Nelson and these guys. I know Marquinhos on loan, but it doesn't feel like going into the Champions League that those guys are at that level right now. Big up DG in the chat. Big up Deluded Guna. Make sure you go and subscribe to him as well. It's like Mane in Southampton, says King Henry. Could be. Sadio Mane, I remember Man United were linked with him. People were saying, he's a little bit rags, maybe not at the level. Went to Liverpool, got shaped up by Klopp, and it all sort of came together. So would you be happy with this signing, people? I've done what everybody does when you need to watch a little bit more of a player. I've typed his name in on YouTube and looked at his best goals and his best skills. But I remember looking at Pepe's best bits in the French league. I remember signing Yaya Sanogo and I saw him lobbing the goalkeeper and nutmegging defenders. And we all know the French postman Pat was not the best of strikers. So the problem is, and Shaq's saying it here, big up Shaq, 150 million barely gets you a couple of Freddos. You've got to be very smart with your business nowadays. Now, the thing with football fans, me included, I want glamorous, I want big signings, 70, 80, 90 million. Get ready-made killers to come straight into this team. But you've got to be able to do your transfer business. Edu's got to be ruthless when he deals with these guys and tries to get these players. So let's get the first poll up of the day. 50 to 55 million for Moussa Diaby. Would you go for him? Is that somebody you'd like? He's a right winger, left-footed. I think he would be willing to be a squad player because this would still be a step up for him from Leverkusen. French player, 23, very quick. it ticks a lot of boxes, and he's banging goals in, which is decent. He's hitting double figures every year. Diaby for 50 million this summer. Yes or no, people? Obviously, there are going to be a number of other options, but for 50 million, like Akeem was saying, and a lot of people have said, let's get our business done early. And get our big deals done early as well before, there is minimal amounts of players, so the price goes higher. Edu, business smarts, Fitz. I know. I'm trying to be positive here, Fitz. I'm trying my best. Our squad will be bloated soon. We will have to sell before we buy. Renarson, Trusty, Holding, Cedric, Ainsley, Elneny, Pepe, Marquinhos, Tavares, Lakonga, and Ketia Balogun. I'm actually going to have to do a show about the loan players, but just first of all, Ainsley's gone. His contract's up. They haven't offered him a new one. So that's one that goes. But yeah, all them other ones, he's going to have a busy summer on his hands, Edu. No time for barbecues, man. He's going to have to get rid of a number of players. Ivan Toney, please, says, hey, definitely for me, I would like to see Ivan Toney join the club. Madrid are also interested if Hazard leaves. Good luck getting rid of Hazard. Nearly 300 grand a week, so I don't see anybody taking him. Marlin said he's a great player. Zach said you can't count stats from the Bundesliga, rather a Prem experience than a potential Havertz or Werner. I always say with the Bundesliga, it's a flip of the coin, right? For every Werner, Havertz, these guys that have come from the Bundesliga and have ultimately not done that well, you can look at Heung-min Son, Gundogan, Aubameyang, Bobby Firmino. So I do, Haaland. So I do think it is a flip of the coin with the Bundesliga. There are a number of players that have come from there and done well. And then there are obviously guys that haven't. Sancho has struggled as well, really. Rosicky, came from Dortmund. Gunnar Roller said, only as option 2, put the money down for Ivan Toney. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting, that is for sure. And I think we're going to be very, very busy this summer. So that's part one of the transfer story. But I do want to talk to you about a few other players. But the Diaby one is very interesting. And the fact that we went in for him in January and they were asking for 100 mil, there's got to be an interest in him there if you're getting him at half the price now. So, yeah, definitely one to look out for there. Now, another transfer story doing the rounds today, people. Again, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be sitting on the fence with this one again. It doesn't excite me that much. But reports coming out of Spain, Real Sociedad midfielder Martin Zubimendi is very close to accepting an offer to play at Arsenal next season. A move to Barcelona has been ruled out. Barcelona apparently can't afford to buy him until they sell some players. Again, he may be a far better player than I'm doing him credit for. And again, I've seen him a couple of times. I've watched some of his highlights as well. He looks very technical, very gifted. But it just doesn't fill me with excitement. Now, that doesn't mean he's not a good player. That doesn't mean we shouldn't sign him. I just don't know enough about him, and is it a player that we should be going for with Champions League football? Is this a representation that, yes, we've gone up a level, we're in the Champions League, we're trying to compete with Man City? Is he good enough? Now, again, anybody who's watched him play a little bit, let me know. I just have worries that, is he a little bit lightweight? I don't know. He looks quite small. He looks very technical, but I worry about these kind of players from La Liga. Lightweight centre midfielders can sometimes come here and get bullied. Now, again, occasionally you'll get your Santi Cazorla, your Fabregas, your David Silva, who come here and work, but I'm not sure. People, let me know. Kiddo said Zubimendi ain't it. Although Ghosted said Zubimendi is Champions League level all day. Cam said he's okay. So many better players. TK Max settings, bro, said Zaneid. Is this the sale rack again, people, with the red stickers? Khalid said, big C for me. I still think Caicedo is the guy for Arsenal. Dre said, who? Yeah, I know. I don't know why, but Arsenal don't seem to like going for the big names, man. If we want world-class players, we should look at players like Kimmich. I don't see you getting Kimmich out of Bayern. Rodri is also a DM from La Liga. Rodri had a lot of physical presence, and he came out of a Simeone team, which is quite physical. Cliffo said, to be honest, doesn't excite me, but have him along with Rice and Caicedo. If you get him along with those guys, then fine. But if you're getting him instead of them guys, then it concerns me a little bit. I don't know enough about him. He doesn't score a lot of goals. 1 goal, 2 assists. He's got 11 yellow cards this season. Deep lying playmaker is what he's described as. So maybe the role that sort of Cazorla was playing him for us towards his latter stage of his time. You don't obviously score that many goals or create many goals in that role. 11 yellow cards, which suggests he's got a bit of bite maybe in the tackle. 24 years of age. Again, I can't really say that this guy's the answer because I don't know enough about him. Some of you have probably watched a lot more of him than me. But I don't know. There's genuinely not I can say about him. I can't say much about him. I haven't watched enough of him. I don't know. For me, I need to see somebody with some physical presence. I want to see a Declan Rice, a Caicedo, a Milinkovic-Savic. I think we need some power in there as well. But if Zubimendi comes in... Now, Arsenal tried to sign him in January. He has a release clause of £50 million. It's believed he wasn't willing to leave Sociedad mid-season, but at the end of the season, he's willing to go. So don't be surprised if this kind of deal happens, people. Doesn't fill me with a lot of excitement, but I'll shamelessly celebrate it if he comes in and he's an absolute baller. Anyone, if you haven't seen him, go and look at the highlights. He's mad techie. But I just don't know. I don't know enough. I don't know if he can come to the Prem and adapt, but wouldn't surprise me because it's an easy deal to get done. Release clause, and we know Arsenal, they like some easy deals. Technically, definitely very good. Dre said we need Kessie. Technically, he's very good, said South London's finest. We can improve or upgrade on Xhaka's position, 100%. E. Ross had a smeller YouTube player. I mean, he's very highly rated in Spain. Barcelona wanted him, but they don't have the cash to buy him at the moment. They've actually got to sell. I'm fine with us going for a small-name player as long as they are Arteta's first choice. I don't want him if he is a plan B, said Joseph. I hear you on that. Matt said 11 yellow cards, perfect Xhaka replacement. Totally hear you on that. Xhaka's actually cleaned up his act a little bit. Sir Festus, I prefer midfielders like Yaya Toure. Do you know what it is? And I'm with you on that. And I don't like to dismiss smaller players. Look, Messi's probably the GOAT and he's like, what, 5'7". But I just feel I want a team that when we're not at our best, footballing-wise, and, you know, it's not clicking, which we've seen in some of the games of the last few weeks, which is why we've dropped points. I want us to be able to... Okay, today it's not clicking, the football isn't working. Let's just become that tough, physical team that at times can even go a little bit direct. Now, that's not glamorous, but to me, that's how you win the major trophies. I've seen Manchester City this season whip crosses in and Haaland's heading them in, something you didn't used to see when they had Aguero and Gabby Jesus up top. We saw the goal against Arsenal where John Stones pumps a 50-yard pass to Haaland. He pins Holding and they get going. I think you've got to be able to do both. Now, I know there aren't many Yaya Toures around, but I think we need pace and power this summer in this team. I honestly do. I think there are two things we can add more to this team. Allow us to be able to bully teams if we have to as well. You've seen Lavia the other week, the way he bullied our midfield for Southampton. You know, you saw the way Kevin De Bruyne just breezed through our midfield. Nobody put a challenge in on him and let him know we were there. You know, so I want that little bit more power and aggression in the team this summer to go along with the qualities that we've already got. So, listen, Zubimendi, if we get him, hopefully he's a quality player. But I just want a little bit more power around there as well. But wouldn't be surprised if we did the deal. It's an easy one for Arsenal to get done. So... Zubimendi, 50 million, and there is a release clause. He's not currently in the Spanish squad from what I've read. Dre said we might as well sign Broads. Why not? Khalid said all this and we'll end up with Mount and Tielemans. Yeah, I hope not. I definitely would rather not have any of them two. King Emery, pace and power, Caicedo or Onana. Listen, if Everton get relegated, you get Onana at a bargain price. He's been on the bench the last couple of times. Did you guys forget Torreira? Height doesn't equal physicality. Yeah, but Torreira in the end, man, he he didn't live up to the hype of the first season in the Premier League. In fact, he spent the whole time saying, I want to get out of the Premier League. Let me end the first poll, which is Diaby. 73% of you saying you would take him. 28% saying no. I'll just do a quick one. Zubimendi. Same thing. Zubimendi, 50 million. Yes or no on that one as well. Again, with me, it's hard for me to commit to it because I just don't know how good he is. So I think without sounding harsh and sceptical, if 50 million gets you Milinkovic-Savic, if 50 million gets you Onana, or I just feel like I'd go towards them guys, unfortunately. But if we get him, then why not? Torreira didn't get a fair shake. I think he got a fair chance. He was homesick. He wanted to go. He didn't like it over it. He was crying as well. Yeah, he was shedding tears as well. Right out of the Zinchenko, itinerary. We will sign Kante. I think he's signing a new deal. Highly wanted criminal. He is a Rodri regen, but can play 8-2 with Zubimendi. Evan said we won't buy big players. We will buy Chelsea rejects. I hope not. Gunnar Roller said any other midfielder has to be in addition to Caicedo. I hope we get Caicedo. And Fitz said if we're a serious big club going for the big trophies, then it's Rice and Caicedo, and that's just for starters. That's only the starter dish, not even the main course, says Fitz. Go big or go home this summer, people. I'm not trying to see us. I told you, I don't want to see Arsenal buying projects, buying players that, oh, in 4 years, this guy's going to be a world beater. Oh, in 4 years, Fabio Vieira will be the new Bernardo Silva. I'm not interested. I'm sorry, and I may come across as snobby speaking like this. We've reached a certain point now. It's time to elevate. If we get in the top 4, Champions... Well, we're guaranteed Champions League football, of course. We're going to finish top 2. Hopefully first, probably second. If we finish second, go for all this title race, all these quality performances this season, obviously we've fallen a little bit short at the moment. If we go through all that and then just sign players at the same level that we were finishing 5th, and they don't lift us to that next level this season, then for me it's a complete waste of time. You're in the Champions League then just to make up the numbers, and you're going to get slapped. This summer, I'm sorry, and I've questioned the ownership, I've questioned Edu and Arteta tactically so many times. They will show us what they are about this summer because they've got no excuse whatsoever. The last few years, they've always been able to lean on an excuse. Oh, the COVID situation has taken so much money out of our pockets. Oh, we're in the Europa League. We're only earning like 10 million out of European football rather than 50. We haven't been in the Champions League. We're having to give out new contracts. Excuse. There's no excuses anymore. You're in the Champions League. You're going to finish top 2. We've got assets in this football club. Odegaard, Saliba, Saka, Martinelli, all these guys. Gabriel, Ramsdale. They're worth big money if you wanted to sell a lot of them. There's no excuse. If the Kroenkes don't go big this summer, listen, I have a lot of debates with Arsenal fans, particularly on Twitter. I've got strong opinions. Sometimes I do it just to wind people up. I can't help it. But one thing is for sure, if the Kroenkes don't go big this summer, I don't see how any Arsenal fan can sit there and accept them as their owners and just think that they are doing the correct job. We should be spending 200 million minimum this summer, and that's the bare minimum. The guy's worth £10 billion. Stan Kroenke is worth 10 billion. He's winning major trophies in America. He's spending a fortune. He's built the most expensive stadium in the world. He's building a train track in Inglewood. Man's building train tracks like Thomas the Tank Engine. I'm just trying to get a centre midfielder to replace Granit Xhaka. A striker to score a few goals. And come on. Should be at least 200 million. And we're not asking for too much. We've been very patient with this guy. So if he doesn't spend big money this summer and Edu doesn't, negotiate with the money properly, Edu, first of all, got to go. I don't care if he's an invincible or whatever. And then there's got to be pressure put on the ownership. He's worth 12.9 billion. And it's probably going up. It's probably going up as we speak. So, he's got to go big. And listen, I have criticised Arteta, but equally at the same time, like a lot of you have said, Arteta needs the first choice players. This is my centre midfielder. I don't need the third one. I want the number one on the list. And then we can make a fair judgment of Arteta as well and say, okay, you gave him the midfielder, you gave him the striker, and he hasn't been able to work with it. So, but I doubt it will happen. You know, I speak all this and give it all this, come on, you know, but he'll probably buy Yuri Tillemans, you know, on a free transfer. It's Kroenke, it's Edu, it's Arsenal. So don't be surprised if it doesn't go in that direction. Anyway, people, let me move on. A little bit more transfer news as well. And a player that looks as if he's on his way out of Arsenal, which is a little bit of a shame, really, but that is Rhys Nelson. Brighton will make a formal offer to sign Rhys Nelson on a free transfer at the end of the season. He's yet to sign a new contract at Arsenal, despite being offered a new one in recent weeks. It looks as if Rhys Nelson could be on his way to Brighton. Rhys is a player that, for me as an Arsenal fan, I've always really supported him. I've always wanted him to make it at Arsenal. He's got a good personality. Apparently he trains very well. You can see this talent there. But something just doesn't click with him. You know, he had the moment against Bournemouth. You're thinking, that's it. It's the rebuild of his career at Arsenal. Come on, be a good squad player. But Brighton would be a fantastic move for him. I've got to be honest, if I was Rhys Nelson's agent, looking at the winger situation at Arsenal right now, on the left you've got Martinelli, Trossard, Smith Rowe. On the right you've got Saka. They're looking for a right winger. You're not going to get regular game time at Arsenal. Brighton are a fantastic footballing team right now. I know they've got Solly March on the right, but maybe Nelson could push him out, and Mitoma and Nelson. So I think it's a great move for him. I think he will go. Something that Cliffo's just said there, and I totally agree with you. How have we let this guy's contract run down to nothing again? Absolutely shocking business. Free agent this summer. Contract finishes on the 30th of June. He's been at the club for years. He was rated as the best youngster at the club at one stage. Why have they allowed his contract to run down? I have no idea how Arsenal do business. Ainsley Maitland-Niles, okay, he's not in the England squad, but he's had England caps. Free agent, no money for him, not a penny. Rhys Nelson, if Brighton want him, Brighton are on the verge of Europa League football. They've got money. They sell big players every summer, and we're just going to let him walk over there for free again. Again, I'm not going to talk about it too much, but shambolic. When it comes to selling players, we are a shambles. We are an absolute shambles. I've seen players like Solanke go for 20 million from Liverpool. We're not getting a penny for Rhys Nelson. Rhys Nelson should be a standard 15 million pounds. We can't even get a sell-on clause because he's going for nothing. But I wish him all the best. I wish him all the best. I think he'll do well at Brighton. And it's a shame it hasn't worked out for him. He was the original star boy, as Jahan said before, the star boy. But the fact we're not getting a penny for him is just absolutely ridiculous. But hey, we're friends with Brighton. Maybe it's a sweetener for us to get Caicedo off them. We can only hope, people. McDowell says, no more projects, only prestige. That's all I'm looking for. Bring me prestige this summer. Bleck said, we are ahead, Big C. It's a process and a project. I mean, I don't know what phase of the process are we in now? 432? I don't know where we're at. It's a phase. They keep phasing us. So we're waiting to see what phase we're at. But this is phase we don't get no money. Phase friends with Brighton. Maybe it's that phase. So we'll have to see. But hey, it's going to be an interesting summer, that's for sure. One final bit of transfer news before I start moving on. Because there is a couple of big stories out at the moment. With the old war chest. But the Mail Sport again saying that Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta has a 6-man transfer wish list for this summer. Declan Rice, Mark Guy, Moussa Diaby, Wilfried Zaha, Moises Caicedo and Romeo Lavia. Yeah, let me end that poll, by the way. Let me end that poll. Zubimendi, 51% say yes. And 49% say no. So we're very split on that one over whether you'd take him or not. Any names on there that excite you? I mean, Declan Rice, we know we're going all out for Declan Rice. Again, I don't mean to sound pessimistic, but the fact Bellingham's going to Real Madrid, don't be surprised if some of these clubs start coming in for Declan Rice now. But we'll see. Mark Guy, I think, is a decent centre-back. More cover for me than anything. Diaby, decent. Wilfried Zaha, I mean, Nimbo, if you're here. If you don't want to know the score, look away now. Caicedo, yeah. Lavia, yeah. I think he's decent. What I would say with this list, and again, I don't want to come across as harsh, because there are some good players there who I would probably take, but I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'm in a mindset that is not realistic. I might be in an unrealistic mindset at the moment. Is that list high enough standard? I think you could get Zaha if he was fifth. I think you could get Diaby if he was fourth or fifth. I don't know. Maybe I'm aiming too high. Some of these are good. Some of these are a bit meh for me. Lavia looks a very good young player. He would be a squad player. Caicedo, yeah, I would take him all day long. Zaha, listen, squad player, free agent, possibly. Again, where's the striker? Would be my question. Do not, I tell you this categorically, I got to go full list. And listen, I want you to let me know in the comments, am I aiming too high? Because I felt a bit underwhelmed by that list. Let me tell you this now. If we go into the Champions League next year, and our two strikers are Gabriel Jesus and Eddie Nketiah as the backup striker, I'm not in a good frame of mind. I'm sorry. Because you're telling me then that if Gabriel Jesus gets injured, you're bringing on Eddie. No disrespect, but listen, we're second seeds in the Champions League next year, which means we're going to get one of the big boys in our group. So we could get Real Madrid, day one, Real Madrid. Anything happens to Jesus, you're playing Eddie Nketiah up front in the Bernabeu. I'm sorry, I can't get my head around that. I can't. People saying Balogun, I think Balogun's going to be sold. I've got to be totally honest. I think they will accept if they get a considerable offer for Balogun this summer. So, listen, for me, every one of them signings is decent. Some are better than others, right? Rice, Caicedo are very good, I think, at this stage. But, like somebody just said there, I think South London, I'm not running to print anyone's name on the back of the shirt. Do many of these push us up to the next level? You know, we need a headline signing. We need a headline act signing. Those deals, every one of those deals is easy to negotiate. West Ham, relegation battle. Crystal Palace, mid-table, don't even have a permanent manager. Leverkusen, not doing great in Germany. Zaha will leave Palace, they're mid-table. Caicedo, Brighton, okay, you'll have to pay a bit, but it's easy to get him. And Romeo, Southampton are going to be in the Championship. So again, I like some of these players, but it screams out easy negotiation. And that's my problem. And I'm sorry, I might be coming across a little bit stuck up with that, but it screams out not difficult to negotiate. And I don't want that. I don't mind a couple of players who are easy, but I want you to sign somebody that's difficult to get because he's that good a player, because he takes you to the next level. Go and get us a Rafa Leao. Go and get us Victor Osimhen. Look, we're not going to spend 120 million on Osimhen, so that one isn't going to happen. But I want Arsenal to sign somebody that makes you go. I remember driving when we signed Alexis Sanchez. I was like, yes! Alexis Sanchez, it was a player that I'd liked for years. I remember when we signed Mesut Ozil, that feeling. When we signed Aubameyang, the feeling. None of these deals give me that feeling. Now, listen, that doesn't necessarily mean we win the title, but I just think we deserve a player like that. When's the last time Arsenal fans had a player like that got us excited? Osimhen, listen, that one ain't happening. So I'm dreaming with that one, of course. That one is not. That one is not going to happen. But I'm just saying, they're the levels we should be aspiring to. Somebody just said there, Leverkusen are sixth, they're having a good season. Well, Leverkusen are in the Conference League spot at the moment. they're 6 points off the Europa League. So what I mean is, for a club of Leverkusen's size, they've missed out on the Champions League. I don't think Conference League is a good season for them, really. So I'm putting it into that context. Do you know what? Somebody just said when we signed Pepe. Pepe for me was a hype signing. I was not like a big Pepe fan. He was a guy that I'd heard about that was banging goals in the French league. I wanted Zaha over Pepe. So yeah, that was a hype signing. I can't lie. Alexis Sanchez time. That's when. Henry said Tony brings us a different dimension. No brainer. Get him in. Get him into this club. Ivan Toney would be a fantastic signing as a striker. Not necessarily a game changer, but or a headline maker, but he could be a game changer. I mean, a smart signing. Bob says Tony, Rice, Leao, Thiago Silva. Not Thiago Silva. Number one, he wouldn't leave Chelsea, I don't think, and he's too old now. He's still probably Chelsea's best player, but not for Arsenal, not the direction we're moving in. Pepe, for me, was useless straight off the bat. He was 24, not even a young promising, only scored 14 goals in that season. It was a hype signing. There was a lot of hype around him. Big clubs were being linked with him, and we got a nice, layaway Klarna deal. Canadian Gunnar said, Curtis, what do you think we are here? City or PSG, who financially doped to get world-class talent? City have 100 FFP charges pending for a reason. Listen, you don't have to do what City are doing to get big players through the door. What about Liverpool when they signed Alisson and Virgil van Dijk? 60 million, 75 million. Game changers. Took them to the next level. They got to a Champions League final, lost to Real Madrid with the bicycle kick from Bale. They went into the market. Fabinho, Alisson, got Van Dijk in January. Game changers. 60 million, 75 million, 35 million. You don't have to do what City and PSG are doing to spend big money. You can be smart with your money, right? We can spend 200 million and not be getting done for financial fair play. We can sell Pepe, Tavares, Lokonga. We've got 11 players on loan. Balogun. We can easily, if we do our job properly this summer, make 100 million from player sales. It's Edu, so we'll probably get a meal deal, a packet of crisps, and a Lucozade Sport. But if we had a decent, transfer sales, we can easily balance out the books and go and spend 250 million. We're going to make a lot of money from being back in the Champions League as well. So, Patino, yeah, he's off as well. Bring Harry Kane home. I'd take him, no lie, but obviously he wouldn't. Big Moose said we need 7 players this summer. Sebastian said Tony and Caicedo, 120 to 30 million. Zaha on a free and Fresneda. I'd also be looking to get a second choice keeper to push Ramsdale out. I think we might need better. It all starts at the back. Listen, if we're smart with our money, we'll be fine. Ivan Toney costs you 50 million, right? He's got 2 years left. Caicedo, you pay 70, 80. Rice would be the same. So let's say you get one of them two. You get Tony. There you go. You're at 120 million. 2 big players that improve the squad. Quality centre mid, quality striker. Okay, you're saying Zaha on a free. Gives you good options out wide. So you've got your striker, you've got your winger. You're going into next season with Zaha, Saka, Martinelli, Trossard, Smith-Rowe. So your wingers are sorted. Tony and Jesus as your strikers, sorted. You've got a midfielder in. Probably get another centre-back so that Holding's not playing. Get another right-back, and I'd possibly get a keeper. You can get that for 200 million all day long. So if they do their business well, there's no excuse. Zaha or Tony. I'd take Ivan Toney because I think we need the striker more. Man said Europa League squad, that says Dre. I mean, we'll see. I would like to see a big boy come in, a big signing, but I wouldn't keep your fingers crossed with Edu. We need Mike Maignan from AC Milan, quality goalkeeper. I would actually play him ahead of Ramsdale. I think he's better than him. But I don't think Arsenal will go for a goalkeeper, unfortunately. I think that they think that what they have is enough in those goalkeeper positions, which does concern me a little bit, but I think they'll give Ramsdale an opportunity to see if he is a Premier League goalkeeper or not. So we'll have to see with that one anyway, people. Anyway, let's move on. let's move on. Mikel Arteta's press conference is out. So it's waffle time, people. Get the syrup ready. I am seriously going to be skipping through this because the pre-match press conference is usually a lot more difficult than the post-match. The post-match is very quick. Akeem said we need 2 centre mids. Xhaka needs replacing and someone to challenge Partey. We need a 6 and an 8. There's no doubt. Partey for me, probably up until March, I was saying, what a season this guy's having. He's challenging Casemiro and Rodri. He's been brilliant. The last 6 weeks, I'm looking at Thomas Partey sideways again. And again, I hope I'm not being spoiled here, but I like Thomas Partey as a player. I'm not saying get rid of him. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm saying he seems to be a player that at certain times it falls apart. He's been at the club for 3 years and he hasn't had a season where you can just say he was brilliant that season. Every season, he either gets injured or he has a loss of form. Something seems to go wrong. It's like he runs out of steam towards the end of the season. He's been horrible the last few weeks. And the fact he got dropped for Jorginho, that tells you a lot. It's usually Xhaka who gets dropped. Now, the one positive this season out of 34, so he's only missed 5 games. The last 2 years, he's missed 14. So that is a positive. But when we've relied on him, when we've needed that leadership, the way that Kevin De Bruyne just ran rings around him. Now, De Bruyne can do that to anybody. But I was kind of looking at Partey as, come on, you go and break that midfield up. Be that powerhouse for us. And I just didn't see enough of it from him. So, yeah, planting Partey was showing his age, man. He looked real tired. I know he was fasting a little bit before that. And, of course, that will affect him. But I don't think you can get through a 38-game season with Champions League, with FA Cup, with Carabao Cup and rely on him as your enforcer. I think you've got to buy somebody else. And you need another goal scorer. To push Granit as well. We need to upgrade him. So, yeah, that's what I would say. I do think we need 2 centre mids and sort out that engine room. Anyway, people, Mikel Arteta, it is that time of the day. Cone Man music. The Cone Man himself is back. Every word from Mikel's pre-Newcastle presser. Now, they say, people, that a picture says 1,000 words. Well, what does that face say? That is the face of a man who 3 weeks ago thought we were going to be Premier League champions. And now he's thinking, what could have been? What went wrong? You know what? I sit here today and it seems like that last 3 or 4 weeks was a blur. You know, that West Ham game seems like it was months ago. The Southampton game, I can't even remember it. It's absolutely crazy when I sit here and think how different things could have felt right now. I've actually got myself in a situation where, as a coping mechanism, as an Arsenal fan, I have switched off from all possibility of Arsenal winning the league. Now, forgive me. Some of you say it's pessimistic. Hang on. Yeah, I will continue to support the team. I have that little tiny bit of hope. But as a coping mechanism, in order for me to have a positive summer, over the last few weeks, I've said, tell yourself it's over. That is the best way for me to move forward, not get too stressed, and just deal with what happens over the next few games. It's over. I don't even watch the Man City games anymore, right? It's done. It's dusted. If something happens, then we'll jump back on the bandwagon later on down the line and pretend this conversation never happened. It's a coping mechanism, people. You have to do it when you're an Arsenal fan. But then I look back and I think, if we'd have beaten Southampton and West Ham, we'd still be 3 points clear of Man City. How on earth? And that's the painful thing for me. At the end of the season, we're going to look back and say, how on earth did we not beat Southampton at home? They are the worst team in the Premier League. But anyway, let's move on. That face he looks stressed out there. He does not look happy. But anyway, let's move on and let's hear what he had to say. If he's waffling, we'll skip through it. Big Sam said in his press conference he's as good as Pep, Klopp and Arteta. First of all, Big Sam, for me, is a legend in the Prem. I think he's absolutely brilliant. Doesn't give the boring, typical press conference waffle. Man comes out and says he's as good as Pep Guardiola. I mean, that is just legendary. Brown envelopes all over the place. Can he do a masterclass against Man City? I doubt it. I think Leeds will probably lose 4 or 5-0. But yeah, that's our hope for the weekend. But big up Big Sam. Anyway, let's go through Mikel Arteta's press conference. And we'll be skipping if we read anything that we don't like. On Gabriel's fitness, we'll have to see tomorrow how he is. But he could not finish the game. So that was a big sign for us. We'll have to see how he is tomorrow. Now, I don't know if you saw, there was an article. The Darren Farley impersonation is brilliant. I'm going to get him on in the next few weeks. We might need to lift our spirits if Kevin De Bruyne's lifting that Premier League title. But there is an article out today saying that Gabriel should be available for the Newcastle game, that it was a kick on the ankle and there was some minor bruising rather than a pulled muscle. So I know Arteta's not giving a lot away here, but the reports are stating that Gabriel should be available for the game against Newcastle. He's expected to train tomorrow, and he will be all right to play against Newcastle. And we will need him, because the way Isak's playing and the way Callum Wilson's playing, they are going to be going at us, that is for sure. So, yeah. On whether there has been any progress on Saliba, I mean, we all know the answer to this already. Not a lot of progress. He's feeling better. He's still not been able to train. He won't play this season. On whether he's out for the season, he said, we are not there yet. Just write it off. On what needs to be done to solve the back problem, he said it's a healing process. Let's skip it. He did say he doesn't need to have an operation now, though. Are there any other injury doubts? He said no. How important was the Chelsea win? We showed a great response. The most important thing was to put it out on the pitch, and we did it. Are needing to find a ruthless streak. We need to find moments that are crucial in games to kill them, find better ways to finalise. Listen, we should have beat Chelsea 5 or 6-0. The fact they got out of there was a 3-1. They're the things we're going to have to learn moving into next season. You know, you've got to finish teams off. I always think 3-0 ends the game. 2-0 and it's still possible. On how much our players need to forget about last season's game at Newcastle, I mean... Some of us can't forget last season's game at Newcastle. I'm only just getting over last season's game at Newcastle. You know what I mean? That's what happened after that toothless performance at Newcastle last season, people. And I don't mean toothless because Callum Wilson's tooth was hanging out. I'm talking about the performance on the pitch when we bottled top 4. So, yeah, let's hope I'm not ripping the shirt this weekend. I won't be anyway, that's for sure. The famous open plan. Listen, go straight from the Arsenal game, straight to the pub, people. Open plan, button-up Arsenal shirt. I think there is, you know, there could be a business idea there moving forward. But anyway, yeah, we'll forget about last season's game. On whether the reverse fixture was one of the toughest, he said we've had a few. On Sam Allardyce's return, he said, I've learnt a lot from coaches. Big Sam, blah, blah, blah. I haven't got the patience for it today. On how different his team is from the one that drew with Newcastle in January, he said, we'll try and play the game we want, blah, blah, blah. On whether the team is better at dealing with Newcastle's approach, we'll have to show it. On coping with our recent defensive changes, we can't control certain things. On having to wait and hope for City to slip, we have enough to deal with. We're just looking after what we have to do. On whether Sunday's game is an opportunity, of course it is. Whether he expects Newcastle to come out flying, he said, I don't know what they have prepared. On whether the traditional Big Six will become the Big Seven with Newcastle, he said they are already third in the league, they're there on merit. On Martin Odegaard's goals coming from late runs, that's something our attacking midfielders have to do. On whether that is something he has worked on in training. On whether Man City will feel the pressure, he said, I don't know what's going to happen. On whether there were examples of them feeling the pressure when he was at City. Honestly, it's a boring one. I'm not doing this to you today, people. On whether there were examples, he said it's more down to the players. We don't know what they are thinking. Whether he can use last season's result to motivate that. It's over. Let's end it. Get it over with. That's actually quite a quick one for a pre-match. Get that rubbish over with. I can't take no more of that. I would have actually been asleep if I'd have continued with that. That was a shambles. One more bit of transfer before we slow down. I'm hungry. That was just a quick waffle, man. I can't deal with that. I had to skip through that today. That was painful. Last bit of transfer news, then we'll go into starting lineup for Newcastle and what we would do. ahead of the game. It would be legendary if Big Sam took points. I really hope he does. Miguel Delaney, who writes for The Independent. Is it The Independent? Let me hover over him. Yeah, The Independent is a chief football writer. Again, the PR machine is in full flow right now. It's doing a full Usain Bolt. It can't stop running. Arsenal have seen a much higher level of potential signings express interest in the last few months, with executives stating what a contrast it is to even 2 years ago. They now have representatives of players in the highest bracket coming to them. This is music to my ears, even though it's probably a lot of PR. The club have no excuses. I'm not interested in unknown players that are going to be the next Bernardo Silva. He's going to be the next this. He's going to be the next that. I'm not interested. Yeah? If the big boys want to sign for us, go and sign some of the big boys. Stop buying Europa League level players. It's PR. Right, Edu's probably sweating in his house reading this because he knows that we want decent players this season. I don't want the next Mbappe. I don't want the next Messi. I don't want the next Ronaldo. I don't want the next Neymar. I want ready-made talent. Yeah, I want ready-made talent. Big boys. Yeah, stop buying projects. Too many projects. Nuno Tavares. We know how that project ended up. We know how Sambi Lokonga ended up as well. So, yeah, no more. Buy proper players. I don't want to have to go on YouTube and find out who players are when they sign for us. Yeah, I want to say, yeah, man, I've watched him 50 times. He's a baller. So, PR machine needs to calm down. Yeah, the PR machine. When Arsenal fail in some sort of situation, the PR machine goes into overdrive. Just calm down, relax, do your business, and let's move forward. Yeah, that's all I want to see. I don't want to see anything else. Spewing all this PR, 200 million to spend, 6-man shortlist of players, and just relax. Sign the damn players, and let's move on. Anyway, let's get into a few comments, and then we're going to pick our team for the weekend. AI business, man. Big up my brother, Broads, Big C, Wagwan, Magenta, everything good, bro. Hope you're well. Trust the process. Yeah, I mean, that's probably... When you look back on Arteta's time at Arsenal, that will be the slogan of his period at Arsenal. The trust the process period at Arsenal. Interesting, by the way, that you said that, C-Law. Austin Trusty was named Birmingham's Player of the Season. Now, I don't know how good Birmingham even are in the Championship this season, but Austin Trusty. Trusty the process, people. Maybe we'll see him back at Arsenal next season. Apparently he's had a great season in the Championship, so fair play to him. Arsenal have made a little bit more money, by the way, a bit of cash, something we don't usually accept. Fulham will pay Arsenal a further £2 million for Bernd Leno after securing their place in the Premier League next season. The initial deal was only worth £3 million, but included £2 million if they stayed up in the first season, with a further £2 million if they stay up next season. They will also pay another £1 million after 50 Premier League appearances. So, yeah, we've made some cash, people. £2 million for Bernd Leno. We're rolling in it, people. We're absolutely rolling in it. Bernd Leno, again, let's be honest, should have been at least £15 million. We got £3 million and another couple million in add-ons. Absolute shambolic transfer business. And then, yeah, we find out Rhys Nelson's probably going to go to Brighton on a free. And Ainsley Maitland-Niles is leaving on a free as well. So, again, let me not talk too much about it, I won't say too much. Someone pinch me. We're making cash. 2 million. Maybe that will get us the new Mbappe, people. He's only 9 years old. He's the best player in France. The iconic shirt, legendary Curtis shirt, you should sell it. Maybe people will bid on it. It was a legendary moment. It was crazy. I was in a state of mind that I didn't think I could get in as a football fan. I think when you stream the game and you're on camera, it kind of isolates things that you do and makes them look a lot worse, But hey, it is what it is. LSU said, big up from Houston. C joining late today. Did I miss the waffle? you missed it, and there was, you'll be glad you missed it as well, people. Our PR is at the level of Real Madrid's Champions League pedigree. And people, the tickets are on sale for Arsenal against Man United in America now. General sale, $170 is the cheapest ticket. They're the nosebleed seats at the top of the MetLife Stadium. Absolutely shambolic from whoever organised this ticketing situation is just outrageous. Hopefully, Shaw on tour again. We'll be back. And hopefully I'll be able to meet up with some of you guys over there in America. Should be a good tour. Arsenal going to Washington to play MLS All-Stars. I don't think I'll be going to that game. But then they're going to play in New York against Man United. And from what I've heard, it hasn't been announced yet. But apparently we're going to play Barcelona in LA on the 26th of July in the SoFi Stadium, which is obviously the stadium that Stan Kroenke owns. No, they're not. From what I've heard, they were supposed to be going to Australia this summer. They've cancelled it, and they're going back to America. I think they're going to Germany as well again. I heard it was Nuremberg where they went last year. That's where the Adidas headquarters is. Obviously, Arsenal sponsored by Adidas. So from what I've heard, they're going to Germany at the start of July. Then they're going to America, MLS All-Stars, then Man United in New York, and then they'll be in LA against Barcelona, is what I've heard, people. But to charge $170 for the cheapest seats in the stadium, where you need binoculars to see the pitch, I don't know how they can get away with it. I just don't understand. But because the demand's so high for the game, they can afford to do it. Some of the tickets are $2,000-$3,000, so it's unbelievable. It's absolutely unbelievable. But yeah, hopefully I'll be over there. Hopefully we can do a meet-up over there or something. The Are You Fit Bro tour is coming up. I'll ask him again. I think it's only right that I ask him that once again, people. Are you fit, bruv? Why don't Arsenal ever go to Jamaica? I'm not sure Arteta's ready for downtown Kingston. I can't lie. I don't know if Coney can deal with Jamaica. It would be an epic tour, though. I can't lie. It would be good. Ostrich said, Josh said in his interview, build a young squad and sprinkle it with talent. No excuses now. We need top players. That guy is, you've created the young squad. Now put the world-class players in there. Anyway, before we go and round up, let's pick the team. Well, it's in New Jersey. You know what I mean? It's in New Jersey. But yeah, the club are selling it as New York because they think it's easier to sell the game when you say New York. But yeah, the game's in New Jersey. But you know what I'm saying. Anyway, let's pick the team. Now, I want to know from you guys what team you would pick. I think 95% of the team picks itself. Ramsdale's in goal. Gabriel left centre-back as long as he's fit, but the reports are that he will train tomorrow. Kivior continues in the team for me. Should have played sooner. Might be too little too late, but he plays. Rob Holding does not play another game this season for me. I'm playing Kieran Tierney. I'm going to be honest. I don't want to hear the word inverted for the rest of the season. I've had enough. Inverted title challenge, inverted tactics, inverted left back, inverted this, inverted that. Stop inverting. Play a proper left back who can defend. Zinchenko is not in good form. His passing is letting him down as well. I don't know. For me, Tierney starts. Number one, Newcastle want to sign him. So start him. Because if he doesn't play, they'll use that as more ammunition to sign him. Almiron on the right is dangerous. I'm playing Kieran Tierney. What are you saying in the comments, people? Invert Curtis Shaw TV, you know what I mean? I've had enough. I don't want to hear no more inverted. Inverted hairline of Holding. Just play a left back that can defend. Now, like you've said, CK, there's no way he's playing him. Never in a million years. Zinchenko is playing inverted, but I'm playing Kieran Tierney. This is about our team. It don't matter what Mikel Arteta does. We're the more important decision. Anyway, let's go into midfield. This is a tough one because I'm going to be totally honest. I'm going to be honest. I'm putting Partey back in despite the poor form because I just think Jorginho and Xhaka, even though they did well against Chelsea, I think that Joel Linton, Willock, and Bruno Guimaraes, I think it's too mobile and too powerful. I don't think that Xhaka and Jorginho will deal with it. I thought against Chelsea as a team didn't look interested. So I think we got away with it against them. Newcastle are firing on all cylinders right now. They're going to want to beat us. They finish third. If they can finish third in the league if they get a few more good results. I just don't think we'll get away with that midfield against them. I mean, Jamar saying Jorginho and Partey and drop Xhaka. Robbie said Zinchenko is young in defence of his poor form. He turns 27 in December. Oh, my day. If he's young, I'm still young. I'll make a comeback. Salman said Jorginho, no Thomas Partey. I'm concerned. Newcastle's midfield. Let me tell you something. Joe Linton, right, as a striker, I looked at him as a striker as one of the worst strikers in the Premier League. Couldn't hit a barn door. Shocking. In midfield, he is a tank. He is going to get a Brazilian call-up. Honestly, I'd take Joe Linton at Arsenal. I'm not even exaggerating. I would take him at Arsenal. The man is a beast. I don't think Jorginho and Xhaka will handle them. I think they're too mobile. I think they'll be too at us at home. This is the final poll of the day, right? I know Partey's been in poor form. But I'm gonna stick with him. What midfield combo against Newcastle? So we'll do Xhaka, Partey, Xhaka, Jorginho, or we'll do Jorginho, Partey as well. Why not? Maybe you want Xhaka dropped. I'm gonna stick by Thomas Partey. I am. I'm going to stick by him. But a lot of you are saying Jorginho. I just think they'll get overrun. I think they're too physical. I think they're too aggressive. I don't think we'll be able to live with them. If you're pushing Xhaka forward and we get caught and Jorginho's your only defensive cover, he's very slow. He's very lightweight. It just concerns me. But he is good on the ball. He is good on the ball. ESR might play in midfield. Who's ESR, Kelly? ESR, who's this ESR you're talking about? I don't know if he even plays football anymore. Zinni and Partey, that could have been a good shout. I should have wrote that as the fourth one. Cancel the Partey. Listen, I'm going Xhaka Partey. I thought Jorginho did well, but I think you've got to pick your team sometimes based on the opposition. I think that Newcastle midfield runs all over Xhaka and Jorginho. Bruno Guimaraes, who is fantastic, and let's be honest, he should be an Arsenal player. Joe Willock is going to be absolutely fired up, like Anthony's saying here. Was let go by Arteta. He's having a good season. And Joe Linton's beast mode. So, it's morning. The party is over. Well, the vote's there. Let me know anyway in the comments, and we'll round up the show with that. Odegaard, of course, in the pocket. This is where it gets interesting again. Got to be totally honest. I thought Trossard was okay. Wasn't amazing against Azpilicueta. But there's just no doubt Trossard adds something to us that we don't quite have as much when he's not in the team. The thing is, Trippier for me is a player that needs to be got at. I think Trippier can be got at. And I think Martinelli would maybe cause him more problems. But then on the other side, you've got Dan Burn who can be got at as well. What are you got? What's your front three, people? Listen, let me get one thing clear. Jesus starts, right? Gabriel Jesus starts. He scored 5 in 6 games now. He frustrated me for a couple of games. He played well the other day. He scored. You've got to play him. I dropped Jesus for Trossard. Trossard is not one-dimensional. Technically better than Martinelli. Akeem saying, drop Jesus. Forget the sentiment. I'm tempted to drop Saka. I'm tempted to rest him. I think Jesus got 5 in 6. Saka, if we're being totally honest, out of our strikers and attacking players, Saka's the least in form at the moment. out of them guys. He's the least in form. Trossard looks good when he plays. Martinelli didn't even deserve to get dropped. I would play Jesus. I would try something else. I think sometimes you got to do something else. I'll go with this. I'm giving him a break. Now, they don't have to set up like that either way. You could play Trossard in the middle. Those three can play anyway. Jesus half time. He's all over the place. They can all interchange, move. That's what I would play. It's hard for me to drop Saka, you know, but Saka for me, I think even mentally needs a little bit of a break. Sometimes you need to sit down, have a little break, view the game, come on in 60 minutes. You view it a little bit different. Sometimes when you're constantly playing, you can't see what you're not doing. I don't look at it as dropping Saka. I think you're giving him a break. I think you're resting him. He's still a young player. I think we're treating Saka at times like he's a 27-year-old superstar that's been there, done that, and he knows how to carry a team on their back. He's a 21-year-old in his, third season as a first-team regular. He's still figuring out his own game and psychology and all of those things. I don't think there's anything wrong with giving him a break. That's what I would pick. That is what I would pick personally. Let me know in the comments if you agree. Abdullah said, Big C, I think they will smash us. I hope I'm wrong. I'm going for 3-1 Newcastle. Wow. Bleck said Trossard for Saka. Trossard is stronger. Gunnarola said Martinelli, Trossard and Jesus. Yep, I agree. E-Ross said rubber genie lamp will never happen. Wishlist 11. Listen, I never said it will happen. It's just what we're hoping for. In reality, he will play Zinchenko at left back. He will play Saka. He will leave out Trossard or Martinelli. The rest of the team, I think Partey for Jorginho will be an interesting one. For him to drop him, I think he was very angry with his performances. So he may go Jorginho ahead of Partey, but I think he might bring Partey back. But I'm going to be totally honest. This is a nerve-wracking game for me. And any little minute hope that we've got of winning the title disappears if we draw or lose this game. Newcastle are going to go for our necks. Make no mistake about this. Look at the form of Isaac. Look at the form of Wilson. They beat us last year, ended our top 4 hopes. We drew with them at home. They were very defensive. They are going to go for us in this game. I've got no doubts that they're going to go for us in this game at St. James's, 50-odd thousand. But we need to beat them, and they don't lose many games. Have you seen the tweet Arteta is training ESR in Granite's position? Yeah, listen, I just want to see ESR getting football. It's like he doesn't play for us at the moment. Newcastle, the best defence in the Premier League, 27 goals conceded, and it's gonna be a very tough game. Big C, if you found Lewis, well, we don't condone any of that comedy clips. Who said Lewis, a Chelsea fan, was racially abused? Yeah, that's shocking. Obviously, man, totally against anything like that. Let's finish off by looking at the table, although it's not a pretty table at the moment. I mean, we got the win. The sad thing is Man City play before us, so in reality, they've got Leeds at home. I expect a comfortable win. That will put them 4 points clear of us on the same games, which means a draw or defeat against Newcastle ends it for me, finito. This is must win, has to be a win. They're a tough team. They've only lost 4, the same as City and Arsenal, but they have drawn 11. They've got the best defence in the league, and they've won 4 of their last 5. Their one defeat was away at Manchester City, and they put up a better performance than us. I'm gonna say that we win 2-1. I wouldn't, if you had money, I wouldn't put a lot of money on it. Right? I'm not confident that we go there and win. It's more hope than expectation. I hope that we can go there and grind out a win. But it's going to be a tough game. I think we need to score first, quiet their fans down, and then try and take control of the game. So it's mad that Man City Leeds, which is a 3 p.m. kickoff, is live on Sky. Yeah, they moved it. because of the coronation weekend or something. Anyway, people, thank you very much for tuning in. Great stream as always. We've been on for just shy of an hour and 10 minutes. Like the video, subscribe, all of that good stuff. I'll throw up a video tomorrow, probably a pre-record, and we'll have the watch along on Sunday. Southern Gooner said, I need the same energy we displayed against Chelsea. Big up yourself. Listen, if this team want the title race to go all the way, they got to go to Newcastle and win this game. We've been there in previous years and beat them. And as I keep saying, City's hardest period of the season is at the end of this season, starting from next week. Real Madrid away, then Everton away, then Real Madrid at home, then Chelsea at home, then Brighton away and Brentford away. I think they will drop points, but if we don't win all four, it's done. It's dusted. Big up Todd Bowley, who said, I'm buying AFTV. You've bought everything else, bro. Big up to everyone tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, and I will see you all tomorrow, people. Bless.